Good morning, game-driven players. Today we are going to talk about a game called Hang 5. It's this little surfing dude down here. So Hang 5 is a derivative of a game called Gomoku, very old game that has been played for a very long time. We have similar rules in some cases, but we have the game-driven twist. And it's a very popular worldwide game, more so than just in America. But let's take a real quick look at the rules. The long and short of it is that you have a grid with 196 possible moves, a 14 by 14 vertice grid. And so you're playing your marble on one of the vertices. So the idea, this is kind of like the game we used to play as kids called Connect 4, except it's Connect 5. So you're trying to get 5 in a row in any direction, and there are 196 possible moves. You start with a completely blank board. Our little twist here, so that it's not a completely deterministic game, is that we have these floating sharks, 3 of them per turn, that go around to random spots on the board, and if they happen to come up under one of your marbles, they eat it, and they leave a hole in the grid that you can then fill in later. So this makes it so that every game is unpredictable, every game is completely new, and you're really adapting to the circumstance each time you make a move. Have any marbles been removed from the board? What are my new opportunities, and so forth. It's a very dynamic game. It's called Hang 5, hence the shark theme here, and this blue ocean that you're playing in. So that's pretty straightforward. This game has a few more interesting variations than typical with some of our games, which completely almost create new games. We have a game in which you start off with limited spaces, so you have these green blockers basically on all of the vertices, and then until the sharks eat them, you can't find an open spot to play. You can play on the very edges if you want, because those aren't covered, or you can play. There's a quadrant in here, a handful of places, but it's basically in reverse. It's called Wipeout, and you end up waiting for the board to open up and then placing your marbles. So it really is kind of more of a defensive game. Definitely intriguing, different kind of style. So that's that one. That changes the gameplay. And then we have a couple games called Pente and Kiro Pente. Pente and Kiro Pente are patterned after real rules, so these are real games variations of Gomoku, in which not only do you strive to get 5 in a row, but you're also racing to capture stones or capture marbles from your opponent. And you do that by bookending their stones. And the different rules between those two variations are, you can do 2 stones only for Pente, and Kiro Pente you can do 2 or 3, and you can also you have to end up with 15 stones in order to win, whereas in Pente it's just 10 stones. So those, I'm going to show you how those work. One other difference between the Pente and the Kiro Pente versions is in the regular Hang 5 or regular Gomoku, you need exactly 5 in a row, whereas in these 2 variations, you can have 5 or more. And that may seem like, well, if I have 5, I'm, not, if I have 6, I'm definitely gonna have 5. But there is a little bit of trick. So having like 2 strings of 3 with a marble in between, you could get 7 by just connecting those two strands, and that's where you would have more than 5, and you would still win in either Pente or Kiro Pente. So let's go walk through the play of one of these games. It's one of the simpler games to play. I'm going to invite Mick to a standard game of Hang 5. It's also pretty much a low investment game. I mean, these are some games you really have to work through your move, and this one, you can usually see the move you want to make pretty quickly. So I'm going to go into Hang 5, actually go to my invites and accept that. And so this is the standard version. You'll see I have another version of another type that I'm going to get to, but here's the standard version. Because we have so many different winning rules, we chose to put the reminder rules down here. There are different color boards, which does also help, and of course you always have the variation listed here. But when you're going through and processing a list of games, sometimes you're not always paying attention to, oh, wait a minute, what variation is this? So this is the basic. You see there's 3 sharks here. The basic game, the standard game, I can just click any spot. And since I don't have autoplay on, I can reset that move and then choose a different spot. Once I'm happy with this spot, it's got a little happy face showing it's the most recent move. Click submit. And if we go to my hang fives, I see there's that standard games and I'm moving it, and I see his red marble, which, like many of our games, you're always in blue, just so there's no confusion. When you come in, your opponent's always red, you're always blue. So I see that was the last move. He has a little smiley on there, and I play, and we just go back and forth just hitting that. You see that how close after I played that shark came to eating one of the marbles. And obviously, as more marbles are placed on the board, there's more chance that you're going to get eaten by a shark. So that will change it. So I'm going to try to stack my guys here across. And he's going to go diagonally. And so you proceed this way. I was kind of hoping we'd get a shark eat, but it does, as you can see, it doesn't happen that often. But as you occupy more spaces, it's kind of like musical chairs, or as you get more things, there's more likelihood, Jenga, whatever you want to call it, there's more likelihood you're going to get a shark on one of your squares. And at that point, you have to reevaluate the board. So that's what makes it very exciting and kind of different every time you play it. So that's the basic game. I'm in a game here with somebody that's also just at the beginning. I created a second game against Game Driven called Kuro. So this is the Kuro Pente. So this is the one where you can capture 2 or more balls, and then you try to beat me to 15. So I mentioned that the rules are set up here. If you look at the rule in standard, you see that I'm just saying this is how you win, a line of exactly 5 balls. And then if I go to the Kuro line, you see 5 or more balls, so line of 5 plus, and capturing 2 or 3 balls takes them off the board and gives you points. And if you capture 15, you win. So it's just a little cliff note to remind you, hey, this is Kuro Pente written right there, and that you have multiple ways to win here. If I go to this game for them, then it is now my turn. So I'm looking at the blue. So if I put a ball here, there's really not going to be anything she can do to prevent me, because there are no sharks. There's no randomness to this game. The only sharks are in the wipeout variation and the standard variation. So Pente and Kuro Pente have no sharks. So at this stage, when I see this board position, I'm going to get those two marbles. And so she would be wise not to put another marble here, because now I'm going to have 3 that I get. So maybe what she does is think ahead. So you kind of have to have a vision of the board and where it's going to be after they make their move, and try to anticipate that. And maybe you're not clustered all in the middle like you would be in the standard game. So she's going to do that. I look at this, and I'll go ahead and capture this so you can see how that would look. So she's only put 2 here. I'm going to capture that. And now her 2 marbles disappear, and they have these shadows to show you they were there, and my score goes up to 2. So again, I'm still trying to fight to get 5 in a row, but I'm also racing my opponent to 15 in Kuro Pente and 10 in Pente. So hopefully that makes it clear the difference in the game. I really personally like this game the best because there's so much variety in ways to win. So of the variations, this is a very challenging one. And if you're somebody who really doesn't like luck, doesn't want a lot of luck in the game, both Pente and Curo Pente take the luck completely out of it, and it's just a pure strategy game. So this might be more your speed. So there she is. So she's going to take my 2, and it would proceed. So now we're tied at 2, and you see, hey, you can't just start stacking your guys in a row. Maybe you have to work from the outside in, and that's where you come into the, maybe I'm trying to string combine smaller strings together so that my opponent can't get to them. So that's how that works. It's a fairly simple game. It's a very fun game, and I think you'll find a lot of people like playing it. So this is one of the more popular games. It's also, as I mentioned, as far as moves go, not the biggest investment to make a move. So you can pick this out, especially when you're first coming on the site. This and Crazy 8 are probably a couple of the easiest ones to jump right into. Battlezone's also easy, but I would say Hang 5 ranks up there as one of the intro games I like to tell people to give a shot because it's pretty clear cut what's going on. So that's Hang 5. That's our review. Hope you enjoyed this tour and introduction, and have fun on the site. I'll see you around.